Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm grateful that you chose to hang out with me here yet another episode of Wisdom on Wednesday. I'm your host, I'm Ray, and I'm grateful for you commenting. I'm grateful for you sharing the post. I'm grateful for you speaking about how the posts have impacted you. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we're just over a year on this podcast on Wisdom on Wednesday. And we thank God that it's gaining some traction. I'm growing. Almost feels like I'm in therapy as I get a chance to talk to you all on a weekly basis. A chance to talk about some things that are going on in my heart brings me back to some stories from my past. So which leads us to today. I'm spending some time with a few of the people that I serve that aren't doing well. And oftentimes when I have a chance to visit people in the hospital or visit people in different states of their lives, God often reminds me of how good things are for me. When I say good, I mean something as basic as good health. Health is wealth. So today, I just want to encourage you, wise friends, continue to be you. Wise friends, continue to be you. The best part about you is nobody can be you like you can. I know that sounds super basic and nothing that can make you leap for joy, but hear me out today. Many times we spend years, we spend decades living up to someone else's expectation. And unfortunately, people can have expectations for us, but their expectations are veiled with their expectations from their own point of view. And even people with the best counsel, with the best intentions, they're projecting what they think success looks like. They're projecting what a good communicator should sound like. They're projecting what an empathetic person feels like. So basically, they're trying to get you to measure up to what they're projecting onto you. But some of the best lessons in life for us is to fully evaluate and appreciate who we are. And the only way that you can really find out who you are is by trial and error. As a teenage person, we know it all. We think we've understood everything. We've 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. Nobody can tell us anything. I was there. And at that time, you really are just coming into yourself. Hormones are going crazy. Your intellect, you look like a grown person, but on the inside, you feel like crying all the time. But ultimately, we haven't experienced the same things that the people that are sharing their input with us. So it seems like they're not allowing us to live as teenagers. I've said this before, and I've heard my teenagers say it, I'm going to have to make my own mistakes. And they're absolutely right. But when you become a parent and you become overprotective and over-controlling, overbearing, you know, all that stuff, helicopter mom, dad. But ultimately, in order for a person to appreciate their intellect, a person to appreciate their ability to get out of trouble, their ability to comprehend and critically think, they've got to find themselves in a pickle that their parents can't help them out of. And sometimes many of us have never failed to the point to where we didn't have anybody to help us. And what happens is that we always find ourselves relying on the opinions of other people. And it's hard for us to be our authentic selves when we're always living up to other people's expectations. But when you fall, and when you fall hard, I mean, when you're a teenager and you fall in a manner in which your parents told you not to, and you fall anyway, you can't even go back and tell your parents that they was right. I know you got a couple of stories your mom and dad don't know about, but ultimately now you know for yourself. And that's the best part about knowing yourself, knowing the way you think, knowing the way you recover, knowing the way you respond to criticism, knowing the way that you respond to encouragement, knowing that the only way that you're going to grow is for you to fully embrace who you are, embracing the way you look, embracing your full lips, embracing your thin lips, recognizing that I'm made in the image of God. And if I'm made in the image of God, I have purpose to who I am. I want you to really think about that. If I'm made in the image of God, I have purpose for why He created me in such a way. Maybe I might not be appealing to everybody. Maybe I might not be attractive to everybody, but I'm attracted to somebody, and I'm glad she's attracted to me. Ultimately, we can't live our lives through the expectations of other people. We have to be true to our authentic selves. So ultimately, spending time with God, recognizing what His purpose is for His design for us, will help us appreciate who He created us to be. Many of us are a little quirky. Many of us are sarcastic and we think we're funny. We're probably not funny to a lot of people, but ultimately we think we are. But when we're able to be ourselves, we can be the happiest. You see, some people have a whole lot of money. Some people have a whole lot of resources. Some people have a whole lot of assets, but they can't be themselves. And when you can't be yourselves, you're a poor person. You're a poor person because your only income comes from people's opinions. Your only resources come when people compliment you and you tap dancing in the manner in which they want you to tap dance. So you've got to stay true to yourself. Stay true to the way you talk. Stay true to the way you pronounce certain things. Stay true to the way you laugh at things that really aren't that funny. Stay true to being a homebody. Just because you're a homebody and your wife is a homebody or your husband's a homebody and the world says you got to take a bunch of trips, you got to hang out all the time, well, that works for them. But ultimately, when you know exactly who you are and what makes you happy, if you like coming home from church and taking that nice nap, and nobody got to know that you love to worship God and come home and worship your pillow. That's between you and your God and your slob-filled pillow, because you're being your authentic self. You're no longer living through the lens of what other people think of you. Because when you live through the lenses of what other people think of you, now your pockets are full of their expectations. Now your head is heavy with the thoughts of what they thought about your last performance. Yes, I didn't mince words. I said performance. Because when you're not being your authentic self, you're pretending to be somebody else. The Bible calls that a hypocrite. But as we look deep into the word hypocrite, hypocrite only means actor. Somebody who understands how to play a role, and they play that role to appease people. But that's exhausting, wise friends, to go to work and to pretend to have a particular dialect so people don't question your ethnic conversation. To come home and now you have to switch back to the way you talk to the people that you love because you forgot that your dialect at work don't work at home. That you have to almost be a different person because you don't trust your authentic self. Unfortunately, some women in different communities couldn't even wear the hair that they grew from their birth because it wasn't accepted in their workplaces. It wasn't accepted in the commonplace. So they had to put a mask on. They had to put something on top of what was authentic to them so that they can walk into these places, so they can feel comfortable. That's a burden that none of us need to carry. Some of us don't be ourselves with our own families. We've lost ourselves in the opinions of whatever success is. We've lost ourselves in trying to appease other people. We've lost ourselves trying to amass all type of wealth, amass all type of success, amass all types of things that will make people say, you know, you're doing a great job. But I want to ask you a serious question today. What if you looked in the mirror today and you told yourself you're doing a great job? Not concerned about what other people think, but ultimately you're checking where you came from. You see, success is not the measurement of how far you go. Success is the measurement of how far you started from. How far have you come since you started? How far have you come? Because everybody doesn't have the same starting point. So since everybody doesn't have the same starting point, the ending point is different as well. You follow what I'm saying? You know the accomplishments you've made. You know the strides that you've made. You said you was going to save some money last year and you did it. That's success. You said that you're going to spend more time with your children this year and you did it. That's success. You said you're going to spend more time in your Bible and prayer and you did it. That's called success. But just because people have money, just because people have resources, just because people have things that you may desire, doesn't mean that they have what you have. You have yourself. You still have your identity. You still have the person that you have and all your integrity. You understand? Many people may have expensive things, but expensive things also have them. They don't have their own identity anymore. Now, I'm not saying just because you have nice things, you don't know who you are. That's not the point of this message. Because many things will be given to you based off of who you are and your authentic self. Many people love being around people who are comfortable in their own skin. Recognize this, wise friend. If you're not comfortable being around yourself, why are you surprised that other people don't want to be around you? You've got to learn how to enjoy your own company. You've got to learn how to laugh at your own corny jokes. You've got to learn how to have that conversation out loud, but be careful what you answer yourself with. That it's important for you to find out who you are and enjoy yourself because life is short. So if we continue on trying to live under everybody else's expectations and under somebody else's thumb, what will happen is we'll lose ourselves. We'll forget exactly what our purpose is. We won't understand what our purpose in this life and our mission is, because we need the approval of people. And when you need the approval of people, now you can't be happy until that person is happy. Now you can't feel successful until that person tells you that was a success. You understand? So we have to get to the place where we are excited to know that God made me in his image and in his likeness, and I have a purpose because he had a plan. And since he has a plan for my purpose, I'm going to trust him for that each and every day and be grateful that I have another day in this earth according to his plan and the purpose he's outlined for my life. My purpose is not going to be the same as someone else's, but I'm going to work my purpose with the best energy I have. I'm going to work that plan with everything I have in me, because I can't look at somebody else's race and wonder why mine is harder. I can't look at someone else's family and wish I had what they had. I don't know the things that are going on the inside of someone else's house. All I have privy to is the things that are going on in my head, the things that are going on with my children, the things that are going on with my wife. And I'm going to make certain that I'm my best authentic self to them. So when that day comes, when I'm no longer here, my family, the people that I invested in, can actually say, I knew him and I'm proud of him because he was always true to himself. So wise friend, I just want to encourage you today, continue to be excited about who you are and who you are becoming. And remember that God loves everything, especially you. Have a great day. Take care.